Okay, time to give all this some textures and colors. This is our final object. So this final object, we can give a basic color. And then you will see this applies to all the objects or the geometry which were added to it. So the 5 tentacles and the, the magnet socket, we don't really have to colorize. So this material we simply call not Octopus. And let's sample the color. This seems to be kind of like maybe a neutral. Yeah. You can see this is very high glossy. So for the moment, we can do it a little bit like this. Roughness, no, not too much. It's not that clear. And when we zoom in, there you can really see there's stuff going on. Okay, pretty cool. Okay, eyes and the mouth. So the eye has a 4.5 diameter, and the distance is 22 millimeters. So I will show you now quickly a process how we map this one out precisely, and then how do we paint this. So we'll first actually make simply a plane. This plane we will give a subdivision surface modifier of 4, yeah, okay, and then we say 4.5 millimeters. Very good. And let's apply this scale-wise. Okay, and this one here we call I. Rx and 90, and we want to move this to there. Very good. And we can move it to here. And so 22 now, so that means from the center, this actually has to be over 11 millimeters. Okay. Alt-D. This is actually then the eye on the left side, minus there. And if we want, we can give this also color. And there we are. And if I look at the piece from the front, so the eyes are roughly roughly there. So let's say at a minus 8 millimeter position. Okay. Then we also have the mouth. So we will do this kind of easy. So can we recycle this maybe? Shift E and escape along the x-axis to 0. Let's see. We're going to edit mode, Control R here. Click and escape. Select this X and delete. Select this and crease. No, this is not creasing it away. There it is. And this one here. There, good. What do we say? 8 by 3. So X is 8 millimeters and Y is 3 millimeters. There we are. Alt Control A, scale. Yeah, okay, good. And from seeing from the side, looks like this is roughly there. So maybe minus 13 millimeter. And this is actually mouth. Okay. So we will do a common process of projecting those onto the surfaces. So project along, what direction? We would turn on local, then we can see the object's direction, Z and negative. And here we can do the same, shrink wrap to there, project negatives Z. I have these two selected, so I can control L and say make a pop here. Okay, good. So something I wanted to point out this way. You notice what's going on there? From here, this looks nice and good, and from there it looks good. But from here looks like, yeah, not so nice. So basically what I'm trying to point out is we can't just linearly project this on a bent surface because they will look deformed. So what we will do is I will select all those and then Alt click shrink wrap. This is actually when you Alt click, so Alt and a left mouse button click, you see you turn this on and off. What we have to do first is get this closer there. So this is actually really good. Maybe a little bit more. And then here, so this is local R and Y. Okay, and then now R and X. There. Okay, you see, this is kind of like where it should be. Honestly, this one I can simply mirror over, so I delete this. And here say mirror along this, on this one along the x-axis. Really good. Yeah. Thank you. If I want to perfect this, I tick R and X. Very good. And I can turn this on. Flop. And offset 1 millimeter. This is too much. Yeah. So now it looks round, looks round. Yeah. So this is good. So in the same, basically, we have to do with our mouth here. This one is actually easy. There, we just from the side rotate it. There we are. And then one offset. There we go. Okay. This type of geometry modeling for interface elements, as you can see, works actually pretty good. And it's not complicated. It's actually pretty easy. If we now want to adjust things, we can easily move them around or exploring how things look. But at one point, now this should also be spray painted. So how could we then actually do that? So let's take a look at these dots up here and how the whole painting stuff works. Save first. And I will actually, for the moment, turn these elements here off. Yeah, very good. And then go into edit mode. And would like to introduce you now to the unwrapping and how all this actually works. So I only have something on top. So essentially on this geometry here, which means these faces, there I'm going to paint on. Good. So we want to unwrap those. unwrap. Very good. Then let's go to texture paint. So it's texture paint. Well, welcome to Photoshop running inside Blender. When we go to tools, there we have active tool. Let's close all those. Here's my brush setting, size, strength, color, a lot of other stuff, symmetry. This will be useful when we do the eye, by the way. And okay, let's say this is white and paint on it. Oh, why don't we see anything? Missing texture detected. So, well, if we want to paint onto our geometry, well, we need to have a sheet of paper, digital file. There's none yet. Okay, so let's do this. I will open a new interface here. Then we go to UV editor, and then you see this is empty. Click new. Color. There, I will actually do the following. I will Control C, copy this color, go to new, and then paste this color in. You see? Click OK. Good. So there's now an image, and we call this Octopus. We have white. Yeah, nothing happens. Okay. So by the way, view. When we go to image editor, view and paint. Oh, look, there's stuff. Okay, I paint. Well, why don't I see anything happening? Well, it's because our material only uses a base color. Click this one here, then image, and there's my octopus painting. And ta-da! There we are. Welcome to painting on the object. So as you can see, you have to be careful how you paint. Now, when I paint here, I think where's the rest of geometry? There, we only unwrap this upper area here. So this is basically what you see there. Maybe we'll slice this this way so you understand fully what's going on. So this is the UV editor. Go into edit mode. And there you can see where it is. No? Control I in 3D view, you see the rest. I could unwrap this too. There we see it. And maybe rotate this so it's nice and clean. I don't really want to paint on it. So I make this small and move this to somewhere else. You see by being on this part of the image, it colorizes my object. And then Control I here, or I just select the faces. This is now where I want to paint to make things a little bit easier. So my head doesn't have to go a little so crazy. I can go and change the rotation this way. So it makes more sense. Now, when we made this image, actually, let's see, this is 1000 by 1000. So this is good. Let's go to object mode. And when we make a new image, this is for what we do right now is okay. In computer graphics, high-end renderings, I go to 4K, etc. So 4000 something. But for what we do, this is pretty good. Okay. Back to texture painting. Wait, sorry. Let's go to edit mode one more time. So we want to make sure that this occupies a nice amount of our image. So it's not too tiny because then I have less pixels really to be mapped. And there we are. This is actually kind of done. Then we can go back to texture paint. And I have now here these two colors. I can click on this, click on this, click on that. You see I sampled over the paint and then I have two alternating materials. I can paint over it here, or I can paint over there. So you see each one is doing the same. The main difference is here when I paint, it translates painting in 3D or painting on the 3D image. No, sorry, painting on the 3D object, and it translates how this will look on a two-dimensional image that's wrapped over the geometry. Yeah, what the heck am I saying here? Let's do it this way. So you see, this is actually a circle, but look how this looks here. You see how this is not a circle, because from here I painted on it, and there you can see what happened. So that's basically what I meant, how this works. So when I actually look perpendicular onto the surface, then it turns it more into a circle. So if I make this a circle or here a circle, there you can see how this works. Pretty cool, no? Yeah. So I kind of like made a funny rookie mistake. We have to paint the face here too. Wah, wah. Okay, not a big deal. We have to adjust our UV unwrapping. So you, and you too. And then honestly, this whole thing we all will select. This makes it easier. So unwrap. There we are. And then here in the UV editor, R, and I try to rotate this so ideally it's nice and straight. Scale this down a little bit. Very good. Control I, select the rest of my stuff. And sorry, you're the not wanted sibling of the extended family. Okay, nice. So let's go back to painting. Sorry for that oversight, but on the other side, you saw actually how easy it is to adjust these projections. So maybe I was pretty good that I made this mistake. Now, let's go over some of the painting tools. This might look a little bit crazy. Intimidating is actually very, very easy. So we have draw, soften, smear, clone, fill, mask. Never used this before. So these commands are pretty self-understanding. We want to draw a lot. Then here with the brush setting, we have various options. Now I want to use mix here. Radius, this is the size, and strength. Pressure. So when you have a Wacom tablet or an iPad and you use Sidecar, you can use the pencil or the stylus. These values here, radius and strength, we can also see here. So this is the radius, pretty big. You can also press F, make it smaller, or F, scroll, make it bigger. Shift F, this is now the strength. And then there's a funny sinus curve inside the circle, and that is actually the fall off. So what this means, when I click, you see the center is solid, and then it becomes transparent. There are various shapes. So this, for example, is solid in the center, and then it falls off very quickly. We can have a linear fall off. We can have a constant, bang, no fall off at all. There you can see that. So we will work actually with the constant. Color pretty much is self-explaining. Another really nice thing is, so this is 112 pixels. If I zoom in or zoom out, hey, isn't that amazing? No, like, oh, I need to make a smaller line. I need to make a thicker line. We just zoom in and out. That is really nice when we have to detail elements, or for example, here we have to fill this, and we just zoom in instead of making this smaller, because the mouse wheel is just so much faster. Then texture, we will take a look at at one point. We can actually load an image and kind of like spray paint it onto it. Stroke is really interesting. So we have space. Switch the color, click. Now there's my stroke methods. Then we also have drag dot. So I click and drag. Oh, and I can position actually the piece. Zuck, zuck, zuck. Oh, that's the difference between space where you click, there it is. Then we also have Airbrush. Okay, never really looked much into it since I used mainly dots, space. Anchored is pretty cool too. So anchored is similar to dot, but I say, so this is the center. From there, how big do I want this? Also nice now. And then we have line. Whoops, what did I do there? So you can draw and drag a line, and then based on the thickness, it draws a line. And you see here, now all the details what we set up here are the same there. By the way, press N, there's the toolbar, exactly the same settings. And even here we have the same tool. So based on how you want to work, you can have access to all these details in multiple areas. Okay, to make it less confusing, I only do the painting settings inside the 3D view where I'm in texture paint. Okay, then curve is actually also interesting. So we make a new curve, and I will set this to this color here, and then control right click, control right click, control right click. You see there we can draw a curve. Then with the left mouse button, I can click and move these control points. I can even change these anchors. And if I now click draw curve or press enter, it draws along it. Pretty useful. And even here we have this curve too. And middle mouse button, you see I can move this around. And then when I press enter, it paints it. So think about the curve kind of like as a stencil. I move in front of my eyes and I move my canvas under it, and then I project it onto here. And same there, you see how the curve stays at the same position. You can even rotate the view. Um, Okay. The curve is actually, we will use this on one figure where we have to paint the hair, because then this is very, very useful. And then we could go into space and then zoom in, and then we start filling in all the missing details. So if you do not have a Wacom tablet and you have a shaky hand, no problem. There's another really nice function. I will show you this right now. F and make it small. It's called stabilize stroke. So when we draw something, you see this basically follows my natural hand motion. Also with a mouse, it's kind of terrible. When we turn this on, you see there's a line, and then I'm pulling it. and I can draw really nice and soft curves. I think this makes this pull line smaller. So the smaller the line, actually, the tighter corners I can create, but the more irregularity I can create. And the bigger the radius, the smoother and bigger arcs I can draw. Okay, yeah. Symmetry pretty much self-explains each other. Clong, clong, clong. Z? Oh yeah, Z. Y is actually the other direction. There's Y. Yeah. Chuk, 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 chuk. We do some pencil drawings. It's my vessel, so left and right is actually the same. Anyway, everybody who likes animation should know where these 3 6 dots coming from. And yeah, enough of this. So this pretty much, I hope, gave you a good understanding of how this works. Now, how do we paint actually this onto it? So we can see there's one there on top. So I might actually want to show at least this one there. Very good. There we are. Okay. And let's pick this color. So this one here, what's actually this again using if I, oh, okay. You click this one, F, let's see. Yeah, color is good. The reflectivity of the material, is it too big right now? So let's lower this maybe to something like this. So very good. And then symmetry set we want to turn off. Oh, interesting. You saw how this was cut out. That was because of, yeah, yeah. yeah. Modeling. We need to figure out actually why this one doesn't have the correct color. Not a big deal. We'll fix this sooner or later. Okay, so now how do we now paint these elements down onto there? One there and one there. Oh, interesting. Okay, and then this shows me actually how the UV map is rotated. So this, yep, we would like to rotate by 90 degrees. Very good. Okay, I'm back to texture paint. This whole process right now drags on a little bit in this lecture, but that's because I'm showing you something new. So this will take a moment to do. And obviously then when we are more understanding of it, it will be faster. Okay, so 1, 2 bigger dots. And as I said, we want to paint those more or less from the front. I will make a really tiny dot and say maybe one here, one there, one there, one there, and one there. So now I can see where they are, no? So then when I go bigger, and then really big. So you see, I'm not painting actually in 3D, I'm painting in the 2D because then this maps actually perfect circles onto it. And there we are. See? Pretty cool, no? We here are actually our eyes. So the eye is actually black. So here I will do symmetry. So that's the center. There we are. And then I go a little bit bigger. Okay, I was a tick too big. See, that's actually where now the image comes in very handy. There. Ah, perfect. Cool. So how do we do the mouth? Mouth is actually pretty easy. I will make this a tick bigger. Try to frame it. And I go a little bit smaller and above it. You will see in a second why. There. Okay, so there it is. And there's actually my mesh. Very good. I make this a tick bigger. And now I can use the grid to perfectly line up my brush. Maybe even a tick bigger. Very good. Yeah, but how do I get the rest off the way? Well, this is actually now where the line tool comes in very handy. So when we go to this, I switch back to this paint. And nope. No, here. Yeah, okay, so there it starts. So I go to, here I zoom in a little bit. I go to this line, draw the line over, and try to come directly to the other point. You see how I'm setting this up. Yep, this is good enough, and then I paint over it. Okay. Unfortunately, I used the wrong color there. Wah, wah, wah. And why did this actually not go over? Okay, so beginner mistakes. This is actually good. We can keep this. And did we not have the mirroring turned on there? Where's actually the mirroring for this? Oh, interesting. So symmetry here works. That was new to me. There's no symmetry in here. Okay. Not really a big problem. We can see where this is actually very easy. So we try to match this one more time. There we are. Okay. Click. And then we go over. There's the other one. We click. Okay. So that's all set. Now we want to have this nice color here. So we sample this, maybe make this a tick brighter. This is actually nowhere, for example, the anchor can come in handy. So there. Okay. And then line back to the background color. A little bit smaller. So from there over to there. Tick too big. Okay. So from this corner to this corner. Okay, very good. Yeah. So, and I want to turn this and this off. Very nice. Then we will add all those back. Now we need to figure out actually why this particular material did not carry over. That's my guess is, let's see. Maybe they need to actually have this color in it. So let's go back to object, save, and I will go to construction. There we are. Bring this down so I can better see the elements. I will actually turn the socket off for the moment. So there we can actually see how the material is different. There is my socket, Octopus. So they do share actually all the same material. And go A and U and unwrap. Oh, look at that. So that fixed it. But we want to make sure that this is not occupying anything of the geometry. Very good. So then we can go to this one here, A and U and unwrap. Same problem. No, because these are all clones, I only have to make one. Okay, now that's one of the advantages of it. Very good. Yeah. I would say that fixed it actually. Yep, it did. We can make one more collection. We could say face overlays, and then all this could go in there. And our design is ready. How cool is that? And that's it for the octopus. Don't forget to save.